Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be going over my high yield income portfolio on Robinhood, as well as my M1 finance portfolio, which holds a lot of REITs and a couple different other BDCs and a tech focused ETF. So I'm going to just give you guys a complete roundup of all the dividends that I made for the month of April, and then I'll kind of give you some of my commentary along the way. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about it. All right, so this is the portfolio on Robinhood as it stands today. I have a pretty sizable portfolio here, and I am using a lot of margin. Just for those who keep wondering, I am using margin for this account. So all in all, the cash value is about 100K with about 94,000 give or take of margin being used. So total would be about 200,000 bucks. So my positions have not changed since my last video. I have PLTW, which is a WeeklyPay ETF for Palantir from Roundhill. I also have NVW, which is for Nvidia from Roundhill, same thing, WeeklyPay. And then XPAY and XDTE, both of which are S&P 500 Covered Call ETFs from Roundhill. All right, the only difference that I have since my last update video for the month was I included a semiconductor ETF called the Yieldmax Semiconductor Portfolio Option Income ETF. So this is the newest one to the portfolio, and it's because I'm very bullish on the semiconductor space. I did do a individual video for this, basically explaining my thesis. So if you guys want to check out that video, be sure to look in my past videos. I'll also include it as a link down below in the description. All right, so getting back to this, brutal, couple of weeks. Not going to lie here. I don't think anyone was spared from a lot of the craziness that was going on in the market. PLTW is Palantir. Of course, it's been on an absolute rip. CHPY's been doing really well. I've only held it for about 3 weeks now, and it has been paying consistently, and those payments have been increasing over time. Nvidia, again, big, fan of Nvidia. I'm very bullish on the stock. And then of course, these two, XPAY, XDTE, will rise with the market. So let's look at the actual dividend income. So I'm not counting these two because these count for May, but these are pending for the month of May. But looking back on April, again, I will just add all of this up. I'm not going to do this right now. I'll make it easier for you guys as the viewer. But as you guys can see, got paid quite a bit of money. All right, so moving on to the M1 finance portfolio, this is where I hold a bulk of my portfolio for REITs, for real estate investment trusts. And I also hold a really big sizable position to a tech focused ETF from Vanguard, VGT. All right, so this is where this is. This doesn't really produce an income of any sort. It does have a very small dividend, but nothing exciting there. REITs have been clobbered just like the rest of the market, but it looks like they've been recovering very, very nicely over these last couple of weeks. And as the trade tariffs, as trade negotiations happen, as more of the geopolitics stuff starts to settle down and wind down, and things become a little more clear and more certain, I am hoping that the REITs will have a really stellar recovery, and that the 10-year treasury will come down, and then after which REITs will absolutely pop, as we saw back in September of 2024. All right, hopping over to the actual dividend income. Now, I'm not going to add all these up line item by line item. Instead, you can pause the video if you'd like to see these. You guys can see some heavy hitters in here. American Tower paid out $208. We have Innovative Industrial Properties, which is a cannabis REIT. They paid out about $68. Alexandria Real Estate, which I'm really bullish on, is $85. I have a ton of dividend income coming from the REITs. Nothing too exciting or too sexy from this. Again, it's just real estate. It's a very buy and hold, type of investment. You got to hold it for basically years to really see any type of result. And you have to invest a sizable amount into these to really see anything of note. All right. So anyways, like I said, instead of, going line item by line item, what I'll do is just add it all up for you guys so you guys can see. So this is how much dividend income I made from both portfolios. XDTE paid me out $1,900, which is, that's nothing to scoff at. That's a pretty sizable amount. All right. XPAY paid me out $1,100. NVW paid me out almost $650. PLTW paid me about $1,000, almost $1,100, and then CHPY, of course, being the newest one, paid me out $61. And then for M1 Finance, for the REITs and BDCs and everything else in that portfolio, they paid me out a whopping $1,200. Now, for the month of April, I made $6,077. Now that is a $943 increase from the previous month, which was March. And I do have a video of me going over those values as well, which I'll include down below in the link or in the description for you guys. So all in all, April was a stellar month, and to see the progress, to see the difference. I mean, you guys can see the difference right here. It is really nice. But if you're investing in anything from Roundhill, especially the 1.2x levered ETFs, you have to understand that PLTW and NVW, these things only have good payouts whenever there's momentum behind them. They will only pay out really good dividends when the stock is pumping. If the stock is declining and it's kind of trading flat or sideways, the payouts probably won't be that great. But if the stock is pumping, then you can expect to see really decent payouts. So, Palantir, or this is Palantir WeeklyPay ETF, last week, it paid about 50 cents a share, and this week it's paying about 60 cents a share. So this is a really, really, good ETF in my opinion. But again, there's a lot of momentum coming up behind it. Palantir does have earnings on Monday, and I suspect that they will crush it. And I suspect that it will send Palantir soaring a little bit. And once that happens, this Roundhill Palantir WeeklyPay ETF, because it's a 1.2x levered ETF for Palantir, this will also rise with that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are getting a lot of value from this. Hope this is inspiring you to just keep investing, stay the course, and of course, don't veer from your plan. If you have a plan, stick to it, invest for the long term. Building wealth is a long-term game. So with that being said, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I will catch you in the next one. Take care.